na Death Bell, Omni vs Homelander. Tako da ima da vidimo što će se ovdje desi. Tako da vidimo, o jako interesantan meč. Šta misliš, što će desi? Čovjek koji je bukvalno razneo planete više puta, cijel svoj jebeni život, ili lik koji ima samo laser eyes i nije uspio da pokori nikakvu planetu. Jako težak debate, Death Bell. Pitam se ko će da pobedi. Okej, ništa, idemo šalnu stranu, sve ovo pripada Roaster Tifu, tako da, za oni koji su se reakciju, evo, idem, krećem, 3, 2, 1. Brate, sam... I koliko video traje, samo govori koliko je ovaj stomp, brate. Da li je ovo uopšte i debate?
Omni Man, the invincible champion from planet Viltra. Homelander, the world's greatest superhero, brought to you by Vought International. Few heroes have stood the test of time with more aplomb than the very first, Superman. But what if absolute power?
Dakle, što se tiče o mojom mišljenju ova dva lika, Omni je mnogo cool lik, radit ću tier list za Death Bell likove. Homelander, planirao sam krećem sa boys, tako da možda će malo dobiti te spoilere, ali valjda neće biti toliko masivni spoileri, nadam se, s obzirom što nije duga epizoda. Čekaj, Hendron je! O, nisam to imao pojma.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Omni-Man. Had you go in there for a second, huh? Not really. His name is in the title of the video. Well, you might be forgiven for mistaking Nolan Grayson for his classic comic inspiration. He's even got that sexy mustache that he's not afraid to hide with terrible CGI. Born on the Nolan was sent to Earth to act as its superpowered alien defender and spread the...
Oh my god! Brate, ovo je najjače. Really wants his son to think. Wow, hvala što ste to došli. Najveći feat koji je ikada mogu neko da postigne. Da.
Until Mark inherited his dad's Viltrumite powers. That's when Mark found out that his dad was a stinking rat bastard liar. Turns out, Viltrum wasn't exactly the peaceful utopia Nolan promised. Peaceful in the sense that they culled half their population, murdering billions with their bare hands until only the strongest were left, united by a common purpose. This Viltrumite empire then went on to conquer planet after planet in their home galaxy, murdering any who dared oppose them. So just scratch that whole peaceful part entirely.
Ooh.
Turns out Omni-Man was here to do that same thing to Earth. Sorry, Mark. Your dad's a dick. Even worse, he's easily the most powerful being on the entire planet. Imagine combining the raw power of a Kryptonian and the bloodlust of a Saiyan, and what you get is basically a Viltrumite. Due to their unique DNA, Viltrumites are composed of smart atoms that they can manipulate to achieve superhuman feats, like holding their breath for weeks on end by drawing more energy from the oxygen inside them. Kinda reminds me of that whole bioelectric aura thing Superman has. That's basically how comic writers bullshit a science-y explanation for his powers.
Wow, fourfold joke.
Make even less sense. How can atomic structure be designated by your DNA? DNA is made of atoms.
Brate, sviđa mi se fourfold joke-ove.
That I cannot stand. Uh-oh, comics fans. I'm calling this debunked.
Oh,
Viltrumites can fly, withstand near absolute zero temperatures, and even possess insane healing factors. You know, stuff like getting punched through the stomach, having your guts ripped out, or having your face smashed.
To nisam još uvijek video u seriji, ali brate mili.
Viltrumites in this series get fucked up and somehow survive. However, too much trauma to the brain or heart can overtax their healing factors, and intense heat can be especially damaging. Even the most powerful Viltrumites can be killed by extended baths in the spicy hot plasma of a star. And because of their abilities, their inner ear vestibular system is far more sensitive than a regular human's. Intense sonic pressure will disrupt their fragile equilibrium and even prevent them from flying. Though, pushing themselves to their physical limits only ends up making them way stronger. And considering Nolan has been alive and planet conquering for thousands of years, he is easily one of the toughest Viltrumites around. Like, other aliens attacking him will literally splatter their bodies against him. But Mark didn't inherit everything from his dad.
Bukvalno govore zašto Omni-Man bukvalno pobeđuje Homelandera.
Despite his alien genes, Mark was raised as a human with our weak, pathetic human values like love and compassion and not brutally murdering the shit out of everyone you see like a maniac. Really made it difficult for Nolan to relate to his kid. Such as when these aliens invaded Earth. Mark tried his best to minimize casualties and outsmart his numerically superior foes. Nolan, meanwhile, tackled their leader through the portal back to their homeworld, then spent some time systematically annihilating their planet for even daring to take Earth from him. Classic generational divide. Annihilate is underselling it. Nolan flew so fast that his body lit their planet's atmosphere on fire, creating massive country-sized explosions, with his own body as the projectile. Omni-Man has flown across galaxies in only a week, survived punching a hole through a planet, and even deflected a meteor the size of Texas. Assuming that means the diameter of the meteor is equivalent to the distance from the top of the Panhandle to the Gulf of Mexico, that would make it 1,300 kilometers wide, and weigh over 4.6 quintillion tons. Moving at re-entry speeds of over 11,000 meters per second, and hit with enough energy to destroy the moon twice over. So Omni-Man is strong enough to slaughter those who considered him an ally, the Guardians of the Globe, all to ensure as seamless a transition to the coming Viltrumite rule as possible. Too bad for Nolan, it wouldn't be that easy, because he'd have to go through his son first. Mark was horrified by his father's treachery, spurred on by the reveal that Nolan only viewed his mother as a pet, a disposable broodmare. Invincible fought Omni-Man to save the planet. And that's when Mark's real Viltrumite training began. Get it? Training? Like the train? Yes.
Ja sam bukvalno traumatizovan od te epizode. Hvala Boomstick.
We get it. It was a good pun. Jesus. But if anything, it was Omni-Man that learned a lesson about humanity that day. He may have tried to turn Mark into a Viltrumite, but in reality, as Nolan fled Earth with tears in his eyes, Mark made his father human.
Wow. Kakav način da završiš ovu cijelu analizu jednog lika. Wow, to je bilo malo heart-wrenching. Ok, sad kreće Homelander. Ok, to su sponzori, ovo ću pauzirati. Ok, kreće Homelander.
Welcome to Vought International, a multi-billion-dollar American conglomerate whose number one products are the greatest superheroes on the face of the earth. That's right! Superheroes are real and they're big business. Imagine a company that possesses a monopoly on popular culture, pumping out movies, TV shows, action figures, and video games constantly, drowning the masses in a slurry of focus-tested nostalgia opium with no end in sight. Yeah, imagine! Within Vought's pantheon of gods among men is their premier super team, the Seven, and its leader, Homelander. He's got the looks, the charm, the Jesus, and most importantly, he's got the power to slaughter all of America's enemies at home and abroad. This guy probably eats freedom and shits eagles. But Homelander's squeaky clean corporate sheen is only skin deep. Far from the big blue Boy Scout he's marketed as, Homelander is probably the closest thing to Lucifer on Earth. Remember Bad Future Biff from Back to the Future? Now give him superpowers and media training. Vought's official story is that Homelander was an alien who landed here as a baby, a tale we're all familiar with. And one that's total bullshit. Homie was made in a lab with Vought's proprietary super soldier serum, Compound V. And he was a complete success. Too much of a success. He was murdering rooms of terrified scientists before his umbilical cord was even cut. In the comics, Vought had to keep a remote-controlled hydrogen bomb strapped to him at all times because they had no idea what else could possibly kill him. As he grew up, he was subjected to psychological conditioning to make him the greatest and most profitable hero of all time. It wasn't long before he debuted as Homelander, the ultimate defender of the American dream. Homelander possesses massively superhuman strength, speed, and durability. He can fly at hypersonic speeds,
superhuman voice. Pa da, voice actor, brate, glumac koji glumi Homelandera, brate, uspeva da razbije ulogu, brate, on bukvalno krade sav mogući spotlight.
or screams so loud that it shatters the eardrums of anyone around him. Those are innocent bystanders whose ears are exploding, by the way. Oh yeah, he totally botched this mission to stop a plane hijacking, so he forced each and everyone on board to die in the resulting crash so they wouldn't reveal his incompetence. Well, Homelander's powers may be real, but his heroism is a charade. Though he plays his part well, he cares nothing for the peons he's forced to protect. The only thing he treasures is, ironically, his public image. Turns out being raised as a lab experiment doesn't create a healthy person. But don't worry, he eventually cleaned up his act and started a totally 100% healthy sexual relationship with a fellow superhero, who just happened to be an actual Nazi.
Uff.
Speaking of sex, Wiz, you know how I'm always saying we should figure out
O
how
ne,
Superman
please
and Lois,
nemoj,
get
please,
busy?
please, please nemoj,
Don't
please
forget that,
nemoj.
'cause Homelander proved that they can't when his ejaculation blew his partner to smithereens. Who drew that? Look, there's no way to sugarcoat this. Considering a human's load has much less mass than a shotgun pellet, it would have to be moving significantly faster to achieve the same kinetic energy, over 1,500 meters per second, or 4.5 times faster than sound. That's right.
Wow.
Homelander can bust a nut faster than the speed of sound.
To nije nigde blizu,
Kinda sucks for humanity that they made this dude the most
to bukvalno nije
powerful
nigde
being
blizu da se laseruješ kroz planete.
on the planet and a psycho murderer. That's no exaggeration. Stillwell even commented that Homelander has proven immune to every weapon known to mankind, no matter how powerful. Humanity literally lacks the ability to kill him. That'd include nuclear weapons as powerful as the Tsar bomb, which exploded with the energy of 50 megatons of TNT. Actually, it could have exploded with twice that. But the Soviets who created it were afraid it would irreversibly alter Earth's biosphere and end the world. That's right. We all almost died. And that's the kind of shit Homelander can shrug off no problem. He's strong enough to throw a jet with one hand and fast enough to outspeed a C4 explosion. Despite being an emotionally stunted man-child, Homelander is still surprisingly cunning and able to manipulate those around him. Though it probably wasn't too smart to piss off the world's angriest limey, Billy Butcher. Yeah, turns out forcibly fathering a bastard son with someone else's wife is not a good idea. Of note, as unjustifiable as it is, to Homelander, this gave him something he never had before. Some small measure of control over his own life. Being born Font's star pupil meant he was under their thumb from the day he was born. His superpowered son was the first thing that was truly his and might be his best option for a new beginning. Or not.
Gledat ću The Boys da li je preživao, okej. Skipovat ću ove sponzore, tako da vidimo se do Battle-a kad počne. Evo krećem. Death Bell i Homelander is fucked. Ček, zašto je Christmas themed?
Howdy, neighbor. Coco? It's warm. You know, Nolan, Homelander is more than just a superhero. It might be cynical to say this, but he's a brand. And it's very important to me that that brand means something. And if I'm playing second fiddle to some goddamn alien, what's really the point, right? What do you think, Debbie?
Holy shit, ubio je Debbie.
Aw, she's shy.
On je mrtav. Druže, on je bukvalno zakopao svoj sopstveni grob zbog toga. Gotov je bukvalno, gotov je.
I'm going to feed you your own heart.
Oh, damn. Oh.
That was a great line.
Pa zapravo nije... Okej, evo kreće. Ne znam ti zbog toga malo pre.
Country. Seriously? I'm not here for your country.
Čekaj, izvinite, samo treba nešto da vidim. A ono, I'm not here for a country, bilo baš odličan line. Reverse Flash vs Black Goku referenca. I'm Omni Man. Šta će da uradi s njim? Wow, pa mislim da će to... Sviđa mi se kako on uopšte nije ni iznenađen zbog toga. Uf.
Never been hit by someone your own size before? You have to turn with the punch to reduce.
Better. Sviđa mi se kako ga sada roastuje bukvalno. Oh. He killed those people.
What's the matter? Are you going to cry?
Oh!
Doctor, I'm done with you. I'm gonna flash right that little shit son of yours. This worthless neighborhood and every goddamn person.
Oh, damn! Oh! Разбил мою вилицу! Разбил мою вилицу! Holy shit! Я че сваля? Рекой...
What I promised you.
Holy shit! Oh my... Holy...
Now swallow.
Oh.
Merry Christmas. KO!
Samo jedan prijateljski podsjetnik. Snijemo 10:07, tako da... Imaš jebene noćne more.
If there's a god, it sure seems like he was working out some aggression there.
Despite Homelander's dominance within the world of the boys, he's a big fish in a small...
Evo vidite, bukvalno. Omni-Man. 7.2 billion times faster. 16 billion times stronger. Healing factor. Superior fight ability. Colors of... Okay, dobro.
pond, relatively speaking. Homelander can move faster than sound, while Omni-Man can move faster than light. Homelander can survive a nuke...
Eto, na to sam i mislio.
...enter the moon twice over.
To be fair, Homelander did have a couple of abilities Omni-Man didn't, like his heat vision.
And while Viltrumite healing factors have failed against continuous exposure to the heat of stars, that still took quite a bit of time. And there's no reason to think Homelander's heat vision was anywhere near that hot.
Hell, Nolan's tanked heat vision from the superhero Mean Supreme before, who can vaporize people in an instant.
Even if it was hot enough, Omni-Man's superior speed would cut him off before he could do any lasting damage. Similarly, despite being able to disrupt his equilibrium with his supersonic screaming, Homelander wasn't strong enough to capitalize on it in any meaningful way.
Plus, while Homelander is pretty devious when the situation calls for it, Omni-Man has been fighting and conquering worlds for thousands of years. He comes from a warrior culture based on fighting. Homelander, on the other hand, comes from a test tube and never had to push himself as a fighter because he was always so much stronger than everyone else.
And that's the key difference between them. One is a warrior, and the other is a bully. Homelander was never going to give up easy, but Omni-Man's skill, power, and Viltrumite heritage earned him the win.
When it comes to Superman knockoffs, Homelander had to eat his heart out.
The winner is Omni-Man.
Okej, pa to je bio FBL. Izvinite ako sam malo bio cringe zbog cijele ove reakcije. Ne znam kako će moj glas da ispadne kada uploadam video. Okej, vidimo koji će sljedeći meč biti. Možda bude nešto interesantno. Pazi, možda bude Goku vs. Paja Patak. Magneto. Magneto vs. Tetsu. Jun 6. Ništa nije hvala što uživali ovom klipu nas i imajte prijatan dan. Dakle, subscribe se i sve te stvari i doviđenja.